Hi, I'm Desiree. Welcome to My Dark Happy Place. Thanks for joining me today. I'm so glad you could make it. Today, for episode number 4, I'm going to do something a little bit different than I have for the other 3. Today, instead of doing a full deep dive into a case, I'm going to be covering one that only took place about 2 weeks ago. With this being such a new case, it's still in the court system. I don't even think there's an official indictment on this yet, so there is limited information out there. The information I'll be giving you guys today is all that I could find as of recording on 11/20/2023. Once everything's settled in court, I will do a full episode with all the details like I normally do. And since nothing is settled in court yet, I'm going to make a broad statement now, because I'm not trying to get sued, and say that under the law, the accused are innocent until proven guilty, and everything reported here is alleged. Anything I state is from a news source, and if anything is my own opinion, I will state that and make it very clear. Okay, now if you've been here for any amount of time, you know what's next. Cue the trigger warning.
Today's episode is intended for mature audiences only. The topic today contains real events that happen to real people. There will be graphic descriptions of very sensitive subjects, such as gun violence and child murder. Listener discretion is advised.
With all that said, let's get into today's case. This case starts on Wednesday, November 8th, 2023. That day, police were called to 213 Bentwood Drive in Shepherdsville, Kentucky. A neighbor couple came home, and as they were pulling into their driveway, they found 32-year-old Tiffanie Lucas walking down from their porch. She walked a little bit more and then collapsed in their driveway. The man rushed over to see if she was all right, and that's when she told him something horrible. She told him that her kids were dying. The wife stayed outside with Tiffanie while the husband ran inside to check on the kids and walked into a horrific scene. He walked in and saw Tiffany's 2 sons, 9-year-old Jayden and 6-year-old Maurice, with gunshot wounds, and he called the police. Let's pause for a moment before we get into the details, and let's learn who Tiffanie, Jayden, and Maurice are. Tiffanie Ann Catherine Lucas, or Celine Tiffanie Ann on Facebook, is the 32-year-old mother of Jayden and Maurice. She's originally from Chicago, and she moved to Kentucky sometime before 2016. Back in 2016, while in the Louisville area, she opened a convenience store on 1801 West Broadway called Miss Tiff's One Stop Shop. Apparently, the area that she opened the shop in was not one that's traveled a lot by visitors or even locals, but there was Walmart set to open there, and she hoped that that would draw traffic her way. Unfortunately, Walmart backed out of the plan, and the store ended up closing in 2017. In 2018, Tiffanie did a month in jail on drug possession charges, but she had no other criminal record before or after that time until the boys' murders on November 8th. If you look through her Facebook posts, you'll see posts of her and the boys happy, smiling, videos of them from outings, even videos from this past Halloween, where they were all dressed up as characters from Star Wars. Tiffanie was dressed as Princess Leia, Jayden as the Mandalorian, and Maurice as Grogu or Baby Yoda. Her Facebook bio says, Jay and Peanuts World forever. In a Mother's Day post, she says that she wouldn't know how to survive without them, and described her and the boys as always together, never apart, 3 souls, 1 heart. In a picture she posted from one of their outings, she captioned it with, my lifeline, my heartbeat, my everything, my kings. There's tons of posts like this on her Facebook. That's why I gave you the name. You can scroll through and see for yourself. Her son Jayden was 9 years old and went by the nickname Jay. Jay's father sadly passed away in 2019. Maurice Baker Jr. was 6 years old and went by the nickname Peanut. He loved playing soccer, playing video games, and he loved animals. Both boys went to Freedom Elementary School. They rode the bus, and neighbors recall seeing them outside waiting for the bus each morning and playing outside as recent as the night before the murders. Despite all of Tiffany's posts on Facebook showing a loving, happy family, other family members said that's not exactly how things were. Jayden's older brother Darrell spoke out about his final interactions with the boys. Darrell and Jayden had the same father, and when Darrell Sr. passed in 2019, Jayden's brother started to get a little bit more involved in his and Maurice's life. The last time he saw them was a couple nights before their deaths and said that they had the best time ever. He said they played cards and they talked about how the boys wanted to play football just like he did when they got older. He states that CPS had been called on Tiffanie for concerns about the boys' care, but it's not known if CPS ever actually got involved. Maurice's stepmom, Michelle, said that she also had a relationship with Jayden, just like Darrell did with Maurice. She also states that CPS had been called and that CPS never got involved or helped them. As to what the exact claims were, I'm unsure. I didn't see it reported anywhere, and I don't want to speculate. After the news broke of the boys' deaths and Tiffany's arrest in relation to them, people took to Facebook to display their disgust and their shock. One friend, Talia Crutcher, spoke out saying she was shocked and can't imagine what the boys went through. She said this was not the Tiffany that she knew, because Tiffany always told her boys how much she loved them, how they were kings, but she also said that Tiffany had a quick temper and that the boys must have gotten the brunt of that anger a lot of the times. She believes that Tiffany had to be hearing voices or having some sort of mental breakdown because she can't believe that Tiffany would just hurt the boys like this. Now that I've given a little information as to who everyone is, we're going to get into the tragic details of this shooting. As I stated, the boys were found in their home, shot on November 8th. The neighbor who went inside found the two little boys in their bedroom, covered in blood with the gun on the bed. The police arrived at the scene at 11:07 a.m. Sergeant Kyle McAllister of the Hillview Police Department and Bullitt County Sheriff Detective Richard Beal were on the scene that day. Detective Beal says that McAllister went inside the house and found the neighbor tending to the two boys while Tiffany was outside with the other neighbor. The boys were still alive and were taken by ambulance to the Norton's Children's Hospital in Louisville. There were efforts to save the boys, but ultimately they both died from their wounds at about 2:50 p.m. during surgery. In an interview with Law and Crime Sidebar podcast host Jesse Weber, Colonel Alex Payne, the chief deputy of the Bullitt County Sheriff's Office, said that the boys were, quote, shot in an area that would not be survivable by anyone, unquote. The boys were both shot 2 times in their heads. These 4 shots were in quick succession, all 4 being fired in just about 30 seconds. There's video from a neighbor's Ring doorbell camera showing Tiffany leaving the house about 5 minutes after the 4 shots can be heard yelling for help. Tiffany was arrested the same day at 3:45 p.m. She was taken to the Bullitt County Sheriff's Office and interviewed for 3 hours. During her interrogation, she said that she'd been given the gun, which she left in the boys' bedroom. When Detective Beal asked if she had meant to hurt the boys, she said that it was an accident. After more interrogation from Detective Beal, Tiffany made statements saying that she was in such a bad spot and saying, quote, I'm so stupid, I would never have done something like this unless someone manipulated me, unquote. Tiffany said that she was being manipulated by Facebook, by the internet, and Wi-Fi, according to Beal's testimony. I read in one article that as family was clearing out the house that she was renting, some more information came to light. Apparently, while they were cleaning it out, they found that the home was filthy, that the utilities were shut off, and that there was an eviction notice on the counter. Could that be the bad spot she was talking about? I'll give my opinions at the end, so stay tuned to hear them. After her initial court appearance on November 9th via video, her bond was set at $2 million, citing her as a danger to others. During this appearance, the Judge Jennifer Porter, also entered a plea of not guilty on her behalf. Tiffany was back in court on November 14th, where Judge Jennifer Porter decided to keep her bail at $2 million. She found probable cause for this case to proceed into a trial before the grand jury. Now, the grand jury is not like an actual jury. They're the ones that actually decide upon the indictment and what formal charges will be put against the defendant in the trial. I didn't see a date that she was due back in court, but I will be keeping an eye on this case and I will update as I find anything new. During the November 14th court appearance, Tiffany did not speak. She didn't say anything, and during both her appearance on November 9th and the one on November 14th, she showed little to no emotion. Detective Beal is the only witness that took the stand on the November 14th hearing. Her court-appointed defense attorney, Richard Lonizak, asked if there had been any test to see if she had drugs in her system, and the answer to that was no. The defense entered a motion to preserve and review police evidence, which was granted. This basically means that the defense has the ability to get their own evaluations done on the evidence, just as the prosecution does. Tiffany is currently being held at the Bullitt County Detention Center. Just to make a note as to her possible sentencing if she is indicted and tried for these shootings, capital punishment is legal in Kentucky, but it is very rare. Chief Deputy Colonel Alex Payne said that Tiffany's reasoning for the shooting is up in the air. He said, quote, whether you think it's mental illness, just pure evil, a combination of both, it could be substance abuse, any combination thereof. Pick your poison. None of it's good. The result is horrific, unquote. As for the family, left reeling from this tragedy, here's what they had to say. Bobby Baker, Maurice's aunt, does not believe it was an accident. She questions how Tiffany could accidentally shoot one boy 2 times and then shoot the other 2 more times. Michelle went on to say that, quote, nobody can manipulate you to do such a horrific thing, unquote. She continued on saying that drugs played a part in Tiffanie's actions, saying, quote, "It's not a mental illness thing. She was on drugs. It's drugs. So many other people really loved them and could have been there to help them, but she wouldn't allow that. She was too selfish, and now they're gone," unquote. Darrell wishes he would have snatched the boys to keep them safe. He said, quote, "I should have did more. If it came to me snatching the boys out of the house, I should have, and I'll hold that on my back for the rest of my life," unquote. He says that Tiffanie scarred everyone with the loss of these boys and that he would have taken them in with open arms. Despite the tremendous loss, he does feel comfort in knowing that they're not alone, saying, quote, "I just know Jayden and Peanut, they're together. And I know our father was probably waiting on them, waiting on both of them," unquote. A memorial for the boys has been made and is filled with teddy bears, toys, flowers, and a vigil was held by the community for Jayden and Maurice on Sunday, November 12th at 5 p.m. at the Little Flock Baptist Church in Shepherdsville. Hundreds of people attended, from neighbors to first responders and, of course, family members. There were candles, balloons, and posters honoring the boys' memory. Michelle said that she and her family plan to attend every court appearance until the end of this case. She also stated that funeral arrangements had not yet been made. All right. So now that I've given you all the information I can find from articles, news sources, things like that, let's get into my opinions. These are my opinions, and nothing I say from this point on is proven as fact. In my opinion, based on what I've read, I think that the manipulation claim is a way to try and get some sort of plea deal. There will probably be a motion for mental health/psychological evaluation based on that statement. I don't, in my opinion, think there's any way that this was an accident. 4 shots, 4 headshots in 30 seconds doesn't seem like an accident. That seems like there was aim and that there was intent. Now, whether that intent was planned or was brought about by mental illness or drugs or something else of that nature, I can't say. Tiffanie had made statements about how she was in a bad spot. Was the bad spot she was talking about the eviction notice and the utilities being shut off? Or was it something entirely different? Was that bad spot maybe giving her stress and possibly triggered something and led to this? I don't know. I don't know exactly what happened. I guess we'll have to kind of see what comes out as this case proceeds through the court. Either way, it is such a terrible tragedy. These 2 boys' lives were ended so soon before they could even really begin. And they were taken by somebody who was supposed to protect them. She was supposed to protect them. She was their mother. I don't see how anyone can look at 2 little innocent boys and take their lives. I don't understand it. So what are your opinions? Do you have the same kind of opinions as I do? Do you have differing opinions? You can find me on social media at Dark Happy Pod. You can listen on Spotify or wherever you're listening now. I see a lot of you are listening on Apple Podcasts, so if you could leave a review over there, that would be great. If you're on YouTube, if you could thumbs up, leave a comment, let me know you're watching, that'd be great. On Spotify, you can also leave reviews. You can find everything I've talked about already on the website, mydarkhappyplace.com, and I do want to make a note before I go. On the Tuesday after Christmas, so Tuesday, December 26th, I will not be releasing an episode that day. I chose to take that off so that I have the week and weekend leading up to Christmas to participate in Christmas activities. And then that week, the transition between Christmas and New Year's, I'll be preparing for that. So I will be back, though, after that short little break on January 2nd with regularly scheduled programming. But until then, I'll be here next week with another episode. So mark it down on your calendars. Bye! If you suspect that a child near you is being abused, please don't hesitate to reach out. You can contact local authorities, or you can reach out to Childhelp National Child Abuse Hotline at 800-422-4453.